Hey, it's Jenny. Okay, we got Boomer here, and we're doing a tag today. We're doing the New Year Same Old Me tag, created by James at Quaint and Curious Volumes. This is a riff on the other tag that's going around on BookTube. I think that one's like the New Year New Me tag. But this one is the New Year same old me tag. So this is a little bit more curmudgeon-y and grumpy version of that tag, which I think is funny. Yeah, so we got some prompts, and prompt number one, regrets. What is one book from 2024, from your 2024 reading goals, that you regret reading or that haunts you? Yeah, that would be ACOTAR. ACOTAR. I really, really wish I never ever read that book. That was the worst reading experience of my entire life. I literally wanted to set that book on fire as soon as I was done reading it, but I didn't because lighting fires is dangerous. You should not do that. Yeah, I don't have a copy of it anymore because I was so angry. I ripped it up and threw it in the garbage because I want it floating in the middle of the ocean in that swirling garbage mass that floats in the center of the ocean where all our garbage ends up polluting the ocean and all that. I think that's where that book belongs, with the floating trash island. Yeah, like, my level of hatred for that book is so supreme. Um, in the outtakes of my previous video, you will see me. I actually, like, I said, that I don't care that it's banned, and actually I kept going, and I cut a lot of that out because I was just going off on a tangent about how much I hate that book. And I was like, if I saw some people throwing that book in a giant bonfire, I'd be like, whatever, go ahead, burn the book. And I realized that going on BookTube and being like, yeah, let's burn some books, might upset some people. But I mean, just so you know, sometimes, like, my sense of humor is a little bit dark and sarcastic. That's just how I am. So, but like, for real, if I saw some people lighting this book on fire, I would not care. I would not care. I don't care that it's banned. I mean, the people in Utah who are banning this book, they're not banning it because they think it's feminist. Like, it's not feminist. It's hugely, hugely misogynistic. It's all about glamorizing domestic violence and rape and trying to make it sexy, even though it's not. It's the most misogynistic work piece of, I can't even call it literature. It doesn't even deserve the title of literature because literature is too fancy sounding of a word. It's just a book. It's like the most misogynist book I've ever read my entire life. Um, but yeah, you could burn it, you could ban it, whatever. I don't care. Oh yeah, it's also racist. Um, so okay, I think there's like one brown skinned character in the whole book, maybe two. And this, I read this at the beginning of 2024, so my memory might not be too good. But okay, so like the one brown skinned character that I can remember, what do you think um her role or job is, like her yeah, in the book? Now, I'll let you think for a minute and make some guesses. The answer is that she's a servant. She's a maid. The one brown skinned character in the entire book is a maid, a servant, who helps the main white woman character put on clothes and get dressed and you know. So that was Sarah J. Maas introducing diversity into her book. Like like this is a Sarah J. Maas is a white privileged woman who went to like, an expensive liberal arts college, but her white privilege is so overwhelmingly screaming out of this novel that she was like, "Oh, I have to write diversity into this book and have some brown skin characters." And then she makes the one brown skin character a maid. Like the most racist thing that you well, not I don't know if it's the most, but she like her white woman privilege like is so it's so laughable. It's hilarious. She couldn't think of a better job for that character to do, like a more higher standing. No, no, she's the maid. And then I think there might be one other brown skinned fairy elf whatever character, but like they die immediately, which is another classic example of racism where the only other, non-white character, dies horribly, like very quickly. Okay. Like you don't have to go to like expensive colleges to like know that's like racism 101 in like art, literature, film, right? Like come on. Like nobody caught this. Like when they're editing the book, no one figured that out. I have to laugh. It's so stupid. Um, yeah, and then like all the rape. Like every single sexual thing in the book is very, very rapey. Like so many people have talked about this on the internet and just read reviews. The people who are intelligent, they'll go, "Wow, this book is really rapey." Like, yeah, it is, and just trying to glamorize it and just trying to say that it's sexy, and it's not. It's not. It's horrible. It's very triggering. If you're a victim of sexual abuse, you shouldn't read this book because it will make you really, really upset. Hi, okay, so I am interjecting because I forgot to say some very important stuff yesterday. I was really, really tired when I was filming. Right, so I gotta explain like the rapey elements to the book. I didn't explain them properly. Um, yeah, so what was the plot? So Tamlin, the main love interest in the beginning of the book, um, he goes to perform a fairy religious ritual, which involves him taking like fairy methamphetamine drug drink thing, and raping a fairy woman in a cave in order for spring to come or something. Like I'm pretty sure spring will come even if you don't rape a woman. But right, whatever. This is part of fairy religion. Yeah, and then he goes while under the influence of fairy methamphetamine, sexually assaults, the our female protagonist, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's 100% boyfriend material." She doesn't even care that he just like raped a woman in a cave. Like, there's no like further discussion about it. It's like she's just like, "Yep, that's fine." Right. And then he gives her some flowers the next day, and she's all just bubbly and excited about that. Like, um, we really have a very good illustration of the domestic violence abuse wheel. Anyway, if you've ever seen that diagram that shows the different ways domestic violence escalates, and then there's the phase where the man gives you flowers and stuff and says, "Oh, it'll never happen again." But it's like, well, he has to rape a woman in a cave like every year for spring to come, so it's just gonna happen again. Right, and there's no logic in this book. Um, and then there is one male character who is nice to Farah all the time, and it's just like a nice guy, nice fairy, and is always trying to protect her. That's Lucian. But Sarah J. Maas just keeps like pushing him off to like the sidelines, and you can tell she's just like, yeah, like nice guys are boring and stupid. What you want is a real alpha male guy, like Tamlin. Like, alpha male guys are like, those are the guys or whatever. It's super, super stupid, patriarchal. Yeah. Oh, and let's talk about Tamlin, the himbo number one. He is so dumb. He is so dumb. Like his whole strategy for like trying to defeat the evil character in the book involves him sacrificing all of his men, all of his warriors. They have to go sacrifice themselves and die. Like Lucian is the only one left. Like his military strategy is really stupid, and but because he's the alpha, like all these guys are like, yes sir, let me go kill myself for you, because that's logical and really makes sense in a military strategy. Like, I don't know anything about military strategy, but I'm pretty sure that like strategy number one in any kind of like campaign, like sacrificing like all your warriors except like one is like really dumb. Like might be like the worst. Anyway, let's go back to, yeah, and then he sexually assaults her, uh bites her in the neck, and at that point I'm like, he just raped a woman in a cave. How is this sexy? And he's on fairy methamphetamine. I don't get it. This is not exciting for me. I just feel gross and nauseous, and I want this man to be killed off. But of course, he's not going to get killed off because he's like the himbo number one. And then basically, I think in the middle of the book, when Farah and Tamlin have decided to be boyfriend girlfriend or whatever, he says to her, and this is like sin number one of, I think, romance books or whatever, probably, but it's just, he says to her that once he starts making love to her, he is unable to stop. So he has to let her know now, if she's okay with this. So Sarah J. Maas is spreading a medical and biological disinformation about men. And okay, so a man is able to stop having sex at any time during sex. If his mother walks into the room, he's going to stop having sex. If the room is lit on fire, he's going to stop having sex. He's perfectly capable of stopping having sex. And most importantly, if you're not having a good time and you say to him, I want to stop having sex, he can stop having sex and nothing bad's going to happen to him. He's going to be fine. He's not going to die. There's no biological, physical, anatomy type reason why he can't stop having sex. And if he tells you that he can't stop having sex with you and it's too late now, he's raping you. That is rape. Yes. And these types of sexual myths that are spread, that's pure evil. You're teaching young women that they're not allowed to change their mind at any time during sex. They can't, that they're hurting men if they decide that they don't want it anymore, and that is a sexual myth. And Sarah J. Maas just puts that right in the middle of this book that is targeted for young women to read. Yeah, so that's a very good reason for me to absolutely hate this book. And yeah, I was too tired yesterday and didn't explain that well. Yeah. And the other thing that really made me want to burn the book, like throw it in a giant bonfire and watch every single page of that disintegrate into dust, is the very end of the book involves the main character being forced to drink a drug that's supposedly extremely like powerful that humans can't even, consume it, that only like the strong elf character or fairy characters or whatever can stand it. But she's forced to drink that over and over and over again, losing her memories, not being able to know what's going on, and forced to like do sexual stuff while um naked, well, excuse me, not naked, wearing a very revealing see-through translucent piece of cloth with like body paint on her or some crap, and forced to be like a sex slave, and to like this guy who eventually becomes the main love interest, like, and yeah, she's not consenting to any of this. It's very, very blatantly said, like how his hands are on her like manacles or something. um yeah, and it's just trying to say that like this is all sexy, this is all fun and a good time, like Sarah J Maas's like number one sexual fantasy was being forced to do drugs and like be naked. And I'm just like, girl, come on, come on. The Me Too movement happened. Like, wake up. We don't need this. We don't want it. Ugh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Anyway, I so wish I had never read that book. But the only good point of reading that book is so you can read it and learn like every single mistake that you should not do when writing a book, I think. Like it's so horrible. Um like the writing is atrocious. It is the worst. Like the woman has no vocabulary. She can't think of any other words besides shivers down my spine and watching his muscles ripple. And she repeats his muscles rippling over and over and over again. Like the man is just like standing in a room, not doing anything, and she's like, his muscles are rippling. His muscles are rippling. And it's so much, it's like, gosh, shut up about his muscles. I don't care. I don't care. And every character, every male character is like the worst man that like ever existed on the entire planet. Oh, awful. I'm gonna have to edit this up because I'm just cursing. Um, we're gonna move on to prompt number 2, Penitence. What is the one book on your 2024 reading goals that you feel guilty for not reading? Oh, yeah. So I didn't finish the Fairfield Porter book yet, and I didn't even pick it back up. This is the last book that my uncle gave me as a present before he passed away, and I really want to get to this, so I feel very guilty about that. He was a sweet man, and yeah, so I want to get to that eventually. Number 3, the Albatross. Are there any books on your 2024 TBR that you're glad to say you won't read in 2025? Oh, okay, so this one you get to be a little mean too. Um, yeah, so one of you booktubers, some of you booktubers recommended this, and then I got it used, and then I read something online about this China Mivel character guy, dude, author, that made me question whether or not I want to read his books. Sounds like a little bit of a Neil Gaiman thing going on here. Some accusations were made, and it seems like these types of things get pushed into the shadows of the internet because it's all hush hush and people don't want people to know that some dude author is, a piece of garbage. So I'm not going to read your book, China Miel. I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, this kind of leads into prompt number 4, pruning. Have um um have any 2024 books led you to reconsider any long-term reading projects? And it's like, yeah, my goal is to cancel authors for myself before I even begin reading them. Um And so I think I've canceled Haruki Murakami. I was almost about to get a Haruki Murakami book. And then thankfully there's some booktubers out there uh enlightened me as to how horrible that guy is, and I am not ever gonna read any of his work. Nope. Nope, you're not for me, Mr. Murakami. I will not be reading you. I'm not gonna read any David Foster Wallace. I don't care whatever you gotta say about that guy. I'm not gonna read it. You are pre canceled. You understand? It's like I'm breaking up with you before we even form a relationship. That's pruning. Um, lying fallow. What is one author genre that you're taking a break from in 2025? And yeah, I read a lot of fantasy in 2024. 2024, the first 6 months of 2024, I was going through cancer treatment. So I was having a bad time. Very, very stressful time. So I read a lot of fantasy. I read some like silly YA fantasy, just like lighthearted stuff. And some of it was good, some of it was not so good. And yeah, there was like some DNFs, and I don't want to like go over like all the books that I didn't really like, but I think I might not read as much fantasy in 2025. I mean, but that all just depends on how bad. I'm hoping 2025 is a good year, but I guess if something bad happens, who knows? I might just go back to fantasy because it's like comforting. Um, like I got, uh, let me show you this Wind and Truth here. The last, like I've read almost all the Cosmere books, and I don't think I'm gonna get to it this year. I think that might be like a 2026 thing. Um, and I don't have anything, wrong. Like, I like Brandon Sanderson. One of the things that, like, I can say about Brandon Sanderson is he is not an edge lord, and I respect that for them. Like, I respect him so much for that. Like, and he has spoken about that. Like, he's not gonna be a George R. R. Martin. He's not gonna add like rape and stuff into his books. He's just not about that. He's just he doesn't do that, and I always feel 100% safe when I'm reading him. I know that there's nothing's gonna happen that's gonna trigger me or make me upset. Like I am safe with Brandon Sanderson, so I respect him. I respect the man a lot for that. And but yeah, I do want to read him. Just I might take a break from him. Just I'm trying to branch out is all. Depending on how things go, 2025. Number six. Did I answer that one? The Scapegoat, or any formerly favorite authors that you're not going to read in 2025? I think I kind of already talked about that. Number seven. Stay the course. Is there a series that you started last year that you might complete this year? Oh yeah. So one of the first booktubers I think no, the first booktuber I ever followed was Cassie Grimm, the Grim Reader, and her mom is Cherry Wilder, and yeah. So I had over the last couple years I've been trying to find like female fantasy authors that are kind of like under the radar or like not super popular, and trying to like find just like kind of like yeah, like just I'm trying to find like interesting female fantasy authors that I feel like need to be respected a lot more, than like for example Sarah J. Maas. Anyway, so the Torrent series, I read the first one, The Luck of Britain's Five. This is a trilogy, and then I have the second book in the series, The Nearest Fire. Look at these old school book covers. I didn't get to this one yet, but I'm gonna. And then I ordered the third book in the trilogy, the Tapestry Warriors. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to all of them. Look at this cool book cover. I love these old school books. Anyway, so beautiful. And then oh, I read this one. It's also by Cherry Wilder. Look at that book cover. That's so cool. We don't make book covers like this anymore. Okay. And then yeah, so I want to finish that. And um just to make this video a little more positive, I did start In Search of Lost Time and Swan's Way by Marcel Proust. I'm having the best time ever. This is so great. I'm really enjoying the Discord. Uh, Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads, where everybody's talking about Proust and we're all getting French and depressed and eating Madeline cookies or whatever. And yeah, there's a lot of great people on there on the Discord. You got all the all-star booktubers on there. It's great. Anyway, I'm really glad I decided to join. Number 7, no, 9. Number 9 is the tag people. I'm really tired. I don't know who to tag, but if you want to do this prompt, you should go ahead and do this prompt. It's a bit curmudgeon-y. It's a bit negative. Um, so, have a good time with it. And hope you're having a good 2025. And I will see you in my next video. Okay, bye. Okay, yeah. So I was super tired, and I'm gonna tag people in the description of this video if you want to do this tag. Yeah, I'm gonna put some names in the description because now I am more awake today and I can think I can think more clearly. Um, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope that nobody hates me if I ripped apart your favorite book. You should really reconsider. If that is your favorite book, you really need to reconsider and think about some of the things I said, because yeah, it's deeply problematic. Um, and I think you should just consider some of the things that I said and rethink. Okay. All right. Bye.